What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Hopefully you had a good weekend, 3-day weekend for some of you, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. Got the app, download that, take it on the go. Smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices, and the video stream on YouTube, Man Cave TV, up and rolling here this morning. What do we have on our game plan for us on this Tuesday morning of May 26th? We've got lots of baseball to catch up on. Brew Crew-wise, Brewers, if we go back to the weekend series against the Dodgers, they did fall against the Dodgers in that series. They picked up a win Friday night, but falling Saturday and Sunday. But yesterday in game one of their series with the Cardinals, the Brewers come out on top, 5-1, thanks to the Brewers putting up 3 in the first. You had a Yelly bomb, and the Miz just being the Miz again. Jacob Mizorowski picking up his 5th win on the season, 5-2. Now has an ERA of a 1.83. He went 7 innings yesterday, 2 hits, 1 earned run, just 1 walk, and then Aaron Ashby shutting it down after that, not even giving up a single hit or a walk either. So Brewers begin this division series with a Game 1 victory. And they'll be throwing out their second fireball, or their second, maybe their Batman, Robin. What duo should we call Miz and Harrison right now? But Kyle Harrison going to be getting the start tonight for the Crew, as they will look to secure at least a series win against the Cardinals. And then Game 3 coming up on Wednesday, which is a little TBD at this point because Logan Henderson's dealing with some back issues, some back tightness. So Pat Murphy yesterday saying it is a bit of a concern right now that they're monitoring. So maybe Logan Henderson will not be getting the start on Wednesday, but we'll see. So plenty of Brewers talk to get your way, and even more Jacob Mizorowski talk. So get ready. Matches a career high 12 Ks last night with his performance. He will maybe one more starts here in the month of May. We'll see. But I mean, gave up his first run, that scoreless streak. Came to an end with giving up a run. But so far in the month of May, 4-0 in 5 games and a .29 ERA. 5 1/3, 6-7, 6-7. Those are his innings. He's given up in 5 games, just 11 hits total, 1 earned run, 6 walks, and 49 strikeouts. 49 strikeouts in the month of May alone. He's already up to 100. 100 this season. He had 87 last year, but he's already at 100. just ridiculous. So we're going to talk Miz. We're going to talk Harrison. Kyle Harrison is going to try to get his 6th win on the season on the mound tonight for the Crew. Brewers currently holding on to that first place spot in the NL Central standings, if that's something you are paying attention to as we approach the end of May. Brewers are up 2.5 games over the Cardinals. The Cubbies riding a 9-game losing streak right now are 3.5 back Reds, 4 back Pirates, 4.5 back. Every single team still in the NL Central with a winning record. What else do we got on the docket here this morning? We will touch on a little bit of Giannis and Bucks and such, because we got some rumors, rumblings, whatever you want to call it, out there. Maybe fake stuff, who knows? But there is some rumblings and rumors out there. So we'll go through the latest surrounding Giannis and whether he will be traded or staying in Milwaukee, some potential trade packages out there as well. So we'll hit this up in and kind of keep you posted and update. I know a big one out there right now is the Heat. There was a little bit of a mention about the Celtics, possibly. So, but we'll get you updated as we next month, the NBA draft, which we know is kind of that soft deadline to make a decision on the future of Giannis and Milwaukee Bucks. But so we got a little hoops chat. The Knicks advancing to the NBA Finals after they took down the Cavaliers yesterday in a sweep, a 4-game sweep. So the Knicks, they're playing some really good basketball in this postseason so far. Can it continue? We'll see we're still waiting to see who they're going to be matched up against as San Antonio and OKC. They'll be back at it tonight for Game 5, but that series is tied at 2 apiece. Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got Carolina picking up a overtime victory last night against the Canadiens. So Carolina is up 2-1 in that series. And Vegas right now up 3-0 against Colorado. They could sweep Colorado tonight with a victory. So we'll see if that's the case or if the Avalanche can make a little bit of a comeback here. Since it is Tuesday, it is a Toyson Ford, a Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? All right. Make it appropriate, and you can send it on over to us via that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Or hit us up on the Section 105 chat room on our video stream. It is also, speaking of Toyson Ford, we had the Eau Claire Express season beginning last night. High-scoring affair for the first game of the season. 9-8 loss for the Express, though, against Fond du Lac. They'll be back at it tonight at Carson Park for Midwest Family Broadcasting Nights. So if you want a magnet schedule, I've got one of them up in the studio right now. Be passing those out this evening. So again, 7:05 first pitch for tonight's game, Game 2 of this Express season. It is also a Sports Confession Tuesday. So what are some sports confessions that you may have? You can send those on over as well. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. All right, what you got for that? Even though we didn't have a program yesterday, if you want to do a little VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend, we'll allow it here too, since it was a little bit of a longer weekend. So if you want to throw something in for a little best and worst from the weekend, please feel free to do so. You can send those on over as well. We'll catch up with RJ Cardinal in about the 8 o'clock hour. Mostly going to be talking about some NCAA potential expansion, the college football playoff, Big Ten really pushing maybe to get 24 teams into that thing. So we'll talk to RJ Cardinal about that and the latest talks about that. I was reading a little bit. Big Ten either wants 12 or 24. So 24 teams. Man, the college football playoff, how'd that work out? How does that play out? But we'll talk about that with Mr. Cardinal coming up in a couple hours from now. So, all right, that's your game plan. Let's get things going here this morning. Coming up on the leadoff, we'll talk some baseball. We'll talk some Brewers baseball. Brew Crew, if we go back to the last few days, dropping their series against the Dodgers. But they bounced back yesterday to pick up their 31st win on the season to improve to 31-20, 11 games over 500, picking up that win against the Cardinals, who are in second place in their division right now. The Miz continues to be the Miz, just setting that bar even higher and higher and higher. Dude is, I know last week we said, what's a word to describe to Jacob Mizorowski right now? Because kind of running out of things here to describe the performance from Jacob Mizorowski, but just we're witnessing something special when it comes to Mizorowski. So, but we'll talk about that and then preview Game 2 tonight with Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Crew. So let's get things going. We'll take our first break, and then we've got the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is here with personalized care every step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you do not have to sit on the sidelines. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, to feel better, and to live better. All right, let's get things going here this morning. We got Barb already on the video stream saying, good morning, world. Make it the best one you can. Good words of encouragement on this Tuesday morning. Thank you, Barb. So let's talk some Brew Crew. Got a few games to recap, right? So maybe a lot of you want to move on from the Dodger series and such, but hey, let's give some credit to where credit's due. And Logan Henderson in that game picking up, if we go back to game one, which was Friday night, Logan Henderson picking up his second win of the season, going 5 innings, just giving up 2 hits, no earned runs, did issue 3 walks, but 7 Ks. Brewers offense able to put up 4 runs in the bottom of the first there to give him an early cushion, to give him a little bit of run support right away. Contreras with that 3-run shot. He ended up collecting 3 hits in the game. Vaughn, who's been hitting it really well here as of late, too, also collected a couple hits with an RBI in Friday night's game. Chad Patrick picking up his second save of the season and second career save. So it was a good start to a series back on Friday. But after that, it kind of came tumbling down a little bit. It might be a little dramatic and such. But Brewers, if you go back to Saturday's game, they jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first. You're like, all right, here we go. We're off to a similar start. Brewers offense has been giving some of their pitchers some early run support here. You like it. You love it. But 4th inning, they lost it. Dodgers able to put up 4 runs in the top of the 4th to take the lead and not look back. Brewers offense couldn't get anything going. Sasaki, after giving up the 3 runs in the first, ends up going 5 innings, and that was the only amount of runs given up, 4 hits to get his 3rd win of the season. Dodgers just kind of really put it out to pasture and shut the door on that thing, putting up 7 runs between the final 2 innings. Walks were the big issue for the Brewers in this game. Robert Gasser picking up his first loss in the season. He gave up 4 earned runs, but also issued 4 walks. Woodford at the back end, 4 walks. DL Hall even giving up a couple of walks. 11 total walks for the Brewers. Yeesh. Yuck. Can't have it. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. And then on Sunday's game, again, Brewers jumping out to an early lead. Second inning, Sal Frelick with the fielder's choice sacrifice, giving the Brew Crew an early 1-0 lead. Dodgers able to tie it up in the 4th and then put it away in the 5th with 4 runs. Offense couldn't get anything going. Yamamoto ends up going 7 innings. 7 hits, 1 earned run. Brandon Sprout, again, walks kind of an issue. Picking up the loss, going 4 innings, but 4 walks. Did match or did set a career 7 Ks. But again, free issues, free passes, those walks, they're killers, man. So Brewers offense couldn't get anything going after that first inning. So they lose Sunday's game 5-1, drop the series against the Dodgers. No time to pout or feel sorry about themselves because they have the Cardinals coming in right away yesterday on Monday. And weird, Brewers again, first inning, giving them some run support. Right away, Brewers offense been putting up some runs early in games as of late here. You like to see it. You'd like to see them maybe add some more as the game kind of progresses and such. But they're giving some of these younger pitchers, some of their flamethrowers, some early cushions here. And that was essentially all Jacob Mizorowski needs. If I feel like if your offense is going to give you a 3-run lead in the first and you got Jacob Mizorowski on the mound, you're probably feeling pretty good about your chance to win the ball game. And that was kind of the case yesterday. Jacob Misiorowski, 7 innings, 2 hits, 12 Ks, 1 walk, 1 earned run. Aaron Ashby locking it up afterwards, 2 innings, not giving up a single hit. Misiorowski matching his career high with 12 Ks in the performance yesterday. It's, again, what do you say? What do you say about Jacob Misiorowski that we have yet to say about Jacob Misiorowski? We're running out of stuff. He struck out his 11th batter at 102 miles per hour. By the way, this is the thing. Okay, we could throw out a question if we wanted to about Misiorowski. Like, what's the thing that maybe impresses you the most, or the thing that really stands out to you the most? I would say it's between a couple of things. One, I mean, has multiple games now where he's been in the 7th inning. 2 is the command and the control. 3 is the dude is still throwing high heat, triple digits in the 7th inning, late in the game, for crying out loud. Those are the 3 big things that really stand out to me about Jacob Misiorowski. 5-2, and his month of May has just been insane. Absolutely insane. 5 games, 4-0, nearly 5-0, .29 ERA, 11 hits, 1 run, 49 strikeouts, 6 walks. Of his 443 pitches that he has thrown in the month of May, 316 have been strikes. An opponent's batting average so far against him in the month of May, 105. That is it. 105. Insane. Absolutely insane. And it's scary to think that, this guy is, a year into his career, not even quite yet, or maybe just getting, what was the anniversary? Was it June last year he was called up? Somewhere around there. But you just kind of think he might continue to get better and better the more experience the guy gets. That's what's the scary thing in this thing. Man. But it's just, are you at the point when Misiorowski goes out there and has a game like he has been in the month of May so far, where you're just not surprised anymore, where you're just like, you kind of shrug your shoulders. You don't want to take it for granted. I don't want to come out and say you don't want to take it for granted. But is it to the point where the bar is set so high for Misiorowski that when he has these type of performances, you're like, yeah, that's kind of what we've become accustomed to so far. It's kind of what we're used to. And I know I've used this example before and this reference before, but if you're a Packers fan, it might be, and I'm not saying he's to this level yet, but might be kind of like an Aaron Rodgers-esque, where the bar was set so high for Rodgers because we've seen so many great games and performances from him that when you had a little bit of a slip-up, and if that slip-up was like 280, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, you're like, what the heck is wrong with Aaron Rodgers? And I think, not trying to get too far ahead, but I feel like Misiorowski, the Miz kid, is approaching that. He's getting close to that. And don't take it for granted, Brewers fans. Just don't. And how he's become so dominant. And we're going to talk about Logan Harrison here, Kyle Harrison here in a couple minutes and such. But man, between these two, just, gosh, I hope they can use it. And when I say use it, man, I hope that means it can develop into a championship, a World Series championship. Take advantage of this thing. Just, oh, gosh. He's so much fun to watch. So insanely fun to watch. Yesterday's game, too, we saw Yelly Christian Yelich picking up his 4th home run of the season. But look at King Vaughn, Andrew Vaughn here as of late. In his last 23 at-bats, he's only gotten 1 home run so far this season. However, he is slugging a .565. He's averaging .391, and he's got an on-base of a .440. If we go back, if we look at what he has done so far this season, after starting opening day and then getting hurt and then missing a bit of time here, Andrew Vaughn, this season so far, .934 OPS, .333 average, and a .424 on-base percentage. Andrew Vaughn is quietly playing some really good baseball, especially from the offensive side of things. And I would even say Contreras here is maybe kind of quietly again, I don't want to say we're taking it for granted because we have this expectation in this level, but it may surprise some people to look at that. Contreras right now, his batting average is over 300 on the season. His OPS is 782, which is actually a little bit lower than his career average, which is 803. But his on-base is higher, 374 compared to a 358. And, again, 304 batting average. As you look at, his last 30 at-bats, he is hitting .433. You want to go back to his last 30 games, which is 119 at-bats. Contreras is .311. Hitting .311. Not only is he getting it done behind the dish with a lot of these younger players, but right now, what he is doing at the plate is pretty impressive too. And rightfully so, Bryce Harang has been getting a lot of talk so far this season. And I've been one of them, and I'm not going back on it by any means because Bryce Harang is still having a fantastic season. But and we're not halfway through the season. William Contreras right now with some of the numbers. If you had to pick an MVP representative from your team, I'd say it's Miz and Contreras. Those would be my two with a little bit of a skosh of a Kyle Harrison. And, if you want to look at MVP odds right now, if you were to look at some of the odds out there, which I got them up right here if it wants to load. You're not going to see Contreras on here. Ohtani's going to run away with the thing again in the National League. That's just, I feel like that's going to happen here. But if you're wondering where the highest Brewer is, it's still Bryce Harang. Best odds are at plus 10,000. Cheerio's even higher than Contreras at this point. Oof. Ohtani, Schwarber, Olsen, Ellie De La Cruz, Harper, Corbin Carroll, Wood, Walker, Baldwin, Soto, Nico Horner, Freeman, Trang. Man, there's finally Contreras. Way down there. He's there with like a Suzuki from the Cubs. Man, I feel like Contreras is, what's the best way to describe it? Kind of phrase this. He ain't getting any of the respect. Contreras is a weird one because I shouldn't say respect because he does get some respect. Preseason wise, when all the rankings and polls come out from like MLB.com or all the MLB analysts, Contreras is consistently a top 1, top 2 catcher. So he gets that attention. He gets that praise. I just think maybe from a catching standpoint, it's going to be hard to win an MVP. But I still think, even though he gets that credit and that attention, before the season with these catcher rankings, I I feel like during the season doesn't get enough credit. I don't know. I'm not saying he doesn't get any praise, any attention, but I'm just saying he could probably get a little bit more. When you factor in the threat he is from the plate on an offensive standpoint and the insanely young pitching staff that he works with. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more Brewers talk. Let's talk about Game 2. We'll preview that coming up after these quick words. Summer is right around the corner, and that means it is time. We can't say around the corner anymore. It is here, right? Memorial Day week is past. But hey, it's time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you're hosting some backyard get-togethers or opening the doors to family and friends, or you're just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. And it's not just about the looks. It's about quality that you could count on and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure that your home is ready to shine. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center today and take the first step towards a space that you will love all season long. Game 2 of this Cardinals series coming your way tonight for the Brew Crew. First pitch, 6:40. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. We've got Kyle Harrison on the mound here for the Brewers, the dynamic duo of Mizorowski and Kyle Harrison. So the lefty is going to be looking for his 6th win on the season. You want to talk about fantastic month of May? You got to put Kyle Harrison's name in there too. In 4 games, he is 3-0 with a 1.23 ERA. He's given up just 3 earned runs, 6 walks, and 29 strikeouts. On the other side of the mound, going for the Cardinals here tonight, we've got Michael McGreevy. He is 3-3 in 10 games so far this year with a 2.40 ERA. He is coming off of a loss against the Pittsburgh Pirates back on the 20th, where he went 5 innings, giving up 10 hits, 3 earned runs. But he's also been having a solid month of May in 4 games. He is 2-1 with a 1.57 ERA. Did it begin the month of May with a little bit of a walk issue? He's got 7 in 4 games, but 5 of those 7 coming in the first 2 games to open up the month of May. 16 strikeouts, including 9 against the Padres back on May 8th. When we look at a little bit of experience, none when you look at these 2 lineups. So both these ball clubs going to be going in here with a little bit of inexperience. It's kind of, McGreevy had 17 games last year for the Cardinals. He appeared in 4 games in the year prior in 2024. But when you look at some of the lineup experience between the two, nada, nothing. So we'll see which offensive lineup has maybe a little bit of the advantage going into this one. But again, Kyle Harrison, with what he has shown so far this season for the Brew Crew, I mean, he is just if Mizorowski wasn't having the season that he has been having so far, all the talk would be about Kyle Harrison. And I know that's not necessarily fair, especially maybe for Kyle Harrison, but maybe it is a good thing for Kyle Harrison too, because just kind of coming into his first year here with the Brewers, with some stops with the Giants and the Red Sox. Maybe it's a good thing I don't want to say flying under the radar necessarily, but maybe it's a good thing for the kid, for the younger pitcher to kind of not have that as big of a spotlight on him where Mizorowski's taking a lot of it and Kyle Harrison can just go out there and do his thing. Sometimes it's hard to follow up what Mizorowski did the day before. Or maybe you approach it like, okay, that's what he did. I got to make sure my A game's on. I got to make sure that I go out there and do my thing. Not necessarily, trying to do match what Mizorowski did from a numbers perspective, but it sets the bar high for the rest of that staff to like, okay, you did that. Okay, I got to up my game. I got to make sure that I'm dialed in. I'm focused in. But man, if you're a Brewers fan and you're looking at the potential future here of Harrison and Mizorowski to lead this staff for the next few years, and then you throw a little Logan Henderson in there. Whew. How do you not get excited about that potential? How do you right now, best duo? I'm not saying that, they're how do I want to rephrase that? Because I might say that they are the best duo right now. I love watching Mizorowski and Harrison pitch back to back. These guys are so fun. They're so fun to watch. And they're not going to go out there every single start and just be dominant. There's odds are, they're going to have a hiccup. They're going to have a bad game. They're probably going to have a bad few games. Every pitcher does. Some more than others. But the good ones, they're few far between. But it's going to happen. I love watching these two guys throw the baseball, go out there and how they do things. And Harrison moves so quick. He works so quick. It's like, ball, all right, pitch count ain't no factor for Kyle Harrison. He's got that rhythm and rhyme. He just goes out there, gets that sign, gets that call, goes out there and nails it. It's so fun to watch. We'll talk some more Brewers, talk plenty more Brewers throughout this morning here, but I did want to talk a little bit about first of all, Jet Williams here. What he is kind of a Jet Williams update, because I think a lot of us are maybe kind of waiting, like, is he going to get called up? Where's he at here? Are we going to get there soon? Are we? So far in the month of May, he's hitting 288. And you kind of look again at the production from the left side. You're kind of wondering, are we getting to that point in time? Are we getting to like put up or shut up time? Let's get this thing going. Let's get it on up. Or maybe we don't see him, and maybe got time to talk about this yet. Do you kind of look at what's out there from a power bat standpoint for that third base position? I don't know. Maybe. We got a quick text from our friend Mark. Mark, how was first of all, Mark says the best of the holiday weekend, the 110th running of the Indy 500. Wow, what a race with 70 lead changes. And after 500 miles, first and second separated by a foot or so. The best race in its history, according to many. Throwing the awesome salute to the fallen veterans in pre-race activities. What an event. Note to listeners, even if you're not a racing fan, put the Indy 500 on your bucket list. It's really something to see, and tickets are inexpensive compared to other events. So, okay, I like how you phrase that, Mark, because I'm going to throw that into a question. What is a sporting event that maybe you are not a fan of or a diehard fan? Maybe not. Maybe you don't even consider yourself a casual fan, but you'd like to experience it. You'd like to go to and experience it. Maybe it's the Kentucky Derby. You're like, I don't know a thing about horse racing, but I'd like to go to it. I'd like to experience it. Maybe it's the Indy 500. Mark, how many years now, or how many of those races have you been to for the Indy 500? But what's another event, or maybe it's just a normal game. Maybe you've never been to a soccer game and you're not a soccer fan. I'm talking pro, Olympic, World Cup's coming up. And you're like, I don't know a dang thing about soccer. I don't know the rules. I don't know the strategy. But gosh darn it, I wouldn't mind going to a game and checking it out in person. So let's turn that into kind of our informal question of the day. What's a sporting event, a sporting game that you wouldn't even say you're a casual fan of, but you would like to experience, you'd like to go check out? Hit me up with your picks, okay? All right, we got to take a quick break as we are wrapping up the first hour already. I'm going to have to brew my third cup of coffee here this morning coming off the 3-day weekend. Man. All right, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Had some gorgeous weather this past weekend. So as a reminder, every summer Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. at the VFW Post 305, take in some live music and happy hour on the patio. Bring your camera, take in the view, grab a beverage, and enjoy some great live music performed by their talented local musicians. All VFW Post 305 will also be featuring some food and drink specials. And, of course, your four-legged friends are always welcome. And put this as a little bit of a reminder, with Father's Day coming up next weekend, or not next weekend. Maybe some dads were wishing it was next weekend, but next month, got the special Father's Day buffet Sunday, June 21st from 7 a.m. to noon. All right, so if you're looking to take dads out for Father's Day, for some brunch, some breakfast, maybe an early lunch, go over to the VFW Post 305. Enter to win a Father's Day basket with every breakfast purchased between now and June 21st as well. So there you go. Always something fun and always something different going on at the VFW Post 305. All right. So Mark says, to answer your question, somewhere around 40 indies I have attended. The first was in 83 when our local driver, Herm Johnson, was in the race. I missed a few over the years, including the COVID year, but not too many, so I'm lucky to have seen many of the great races. Oh, wow. That's so kind of a tradition now, Mark. That's amazing. 40. Wow. I would say that's probably, if I did a list of top 5 sporting events that I'm not necessarily a diehard fan, maybe I'm just kind of a casual fan, I'd probably put the Indy 500 on there. I'd probably put the Kentucky Derby on there. I'd like to see a World Cup match too. I couldn't tell you the rules and I couldn't break down strategy and soccer, but I'd kind of like to go and check it out in person. What are some of the ones for you out there? All right. Hit me up. Let me know. Coming up next hour, the latest rumors, rumblings surrounding Giannis. We'll get to that coming up in the next hour, and plenty more Brewers talk as well as we get set for Game 2 against the Cardinals tonight. Good morning, Morgs.
Hey, for sure the Derby would be mine. I love the Derby. Watching it on TV, but being there in real life. I mean, I'm priced way out of the Derby. That's never.
But are you? Would you say you're a casual fan?
Casual. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the one if you weren't even a fan of, but you just want to experience?
See, that I don't know, because then you're dealing with crowds, and I'm not a huge crowd person.
You go to crowd stuff all the time.
Oh, I know. Like most people, you suck it up. Probably soccer. Like, I don't know much about soccer, but are you jazzed at all for the World Cup this year?
I might be a little bit more because Hudson's really into soccer, even though he's never played it.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a pop culture thing.
I think it's a generational thing. I know more young kids that are wearing soccer jerseys or into the whole culture of soccer.
He's got a Messi poster. He's got a Messi shirt, but he has not watched a single soccer match.
You can't fit one more sport into your life right now, so you better hope he doesn't play.
I honestly, if he wants to play, good, because that means I don't have to coach because I don't know a lick about soccer.
You probably still would coach, Lara. Now, Tussle Tuesday, just a couple of hot takes we're going to get your opinion on. Easy or complicated, depending on how much you want to argue. Water tastes different.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that there's a difference? Do you have a favorite water?
Not really.
But you can tell?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So bottled, tap?
Bottle. Unless it's like a filtered tap.
Okay. But you think that you can notice that
100%.
taste? 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's some taps I won't like. I just won't. If it's not filtered, I won't.
Checking in luggage is better than bringing a carry-on.
That's the wrong question for me. I've only flown once in my life, and it was back when I was in 8th grade.
Would you do it again, or are you not a plane person? You're shaking your head.
I'm indifferent. I'd like more experience, but
okay.
I got too much going on in my life right now to.
What about fashion? You're a fashion guy.
No, I'm not.
Wearing socks with sandals.
Oh my gosh! No, I just said this yesterday. We pulled into Menards, and there was a lady wearing like not even slides. Slides and socks are fine, like if you're at a ball tournament, because you can do that. But if you have
socks, have you seen the kids now in the Berks?
That's what it was, and I just no.
Why?
No. What's the point? What's the point of wearing sandals if you're going to wear socks with it? What is the point?
Okay, well, on this note, since you're getting all lathered up, the customer is always right.
No.
I don't either.
No.
But I do think, one of my legit hot takes in life, I think you should have to work food or retail at some point as a first job or early in your career, because it gives you a better perspective on both sides of the counter, being a customer and being an employee of something.
Yeah.
Professional athletes are terrible role models.
Some are. That'll be the last one.
That's the last
Some
one?
are. Yep.
Who's your current favorite role model right now? For let's say for Hutsy, despite the soccer messies.
Maybe Giannis.
Oh, okay.
All right, second hour, kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning of May 26th. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning. We're going to talk a little bit of Giannis, rumors, updates, what's the latest surrounding whether he will stay, whether he will go. We'll get you informed on that. We'll get back to some more Brewers. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk coming up here in just a little bit. We'll catch up with RJ Cardinal coming up next hour. I want to talk more about the potential of maybe the college football playoff expanding even more. We're talking like 24 teams. Seems like the Big Ten is pushing for that. So we'll hit up RJ with that. Also, it is a sports confession Tuesday. So what's your confessions? All right, make it appropriate. Send it on over. Also, your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. And it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what's grinding your gears? All right, get it off your chest. Again, make it appropriate. Send it on over, and we'll read it for the rest of the class. I could say. I think I could speak for Mr. Brandon Berg, since Surveyor's chiming in right now. Brandon Berg's Grind My Gears would be directed at you, Surveyor, because Brandon on Friday said, what's the deal with Surveyor? Is he just quitting on asking us trivia questions now and such? So, I mean, I'm just relaying it to you, Surveyor. Just throwing it out there. Surveyor says, good morning, DK. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. First, I totally agree. Socks and sandals bugs the crap out of me. Let the dogs breathe, people. Legit. I need to know a legit reason why people wear socks and sandals. Ball games, like if you got the spikes on and you're taking them off, slides, that's fine. Perfectly acceptable. Just a quick in and out. If you're at a ball game, you got a tournament, in between games, I can dig that. Anything else, what are we doing? What is the point? What is the point? It makes no sense. Heck, even golf, I don't care. All right, you get done golfing and you want to stick back for a couple at the clubhouse, you put on some slides, cool. Anything that's not like sports, I don't get it. Baseball, like baseball, you're running around the clubhouse, fine. I don't get it. We've got second, an event or two I'd like to go to that I'm a casual for. Wimbledon, the UEFA Cup, and a cricket game between Pakistan and India. Look at you going really deep into that. Thinking outside the box a little bit. I like that. Yeah, I think I'd like to do Wimbledon too. I'm not a tennis fan or a big tennis fan. I'll watch it once in a while. I know a little bit, the rules, love 30 and, all that stuff. But that's the one thing, too, I wish I could figure out how to actually hit a tennis ball like the pros do. How they get that spin on it. Because when I do it, it's going over the cage, over the fence in the tennis court, and probably smoking somebody. How they do that is just, oh, man. That's a good one. Wimbledon for me, along with... I put a soccer World Cup soccer match on there. I want to experience the environment. I'd throw the Indy in there. Maybe even throw a Daytona. Yeah, I'd be good about that. That's a good one. I like that. I like that Wimbledon one for sure. So, what else for the rest of you? Okay, send it on over. 715-830-1912. 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. What else do we got going on here this morning? Well, not really a lot of football talk here either, so I'm not going to force it. Oh, I thought we had a Freddie Peralta trade rumor, but it's just an article. Never mind. So, speaking of trades, let's go to Giannis, and let's go to to a little hoops talk here. So, the latest, according to Mark Stein, says the Heat and the Celtics are believed to be atop of Giannis's current list of desired trade destinations. While Miami has long coveted Giannis and will likely have some talks with Milwaukee about a possible deal, and I know there's been a rumor package out there kind of circulating around social media and that. Stein says it's not certain how Boston feels about a potential franchise-altering trade that would likely have to involve Jaylen Brown in at least 3 teams. Stein continues to hear that Giannis prefers a trade to an Eastern Conference team capable of competing for a championship rather than a move to the West. Which brings the question up now. If the Bucks do decide to trade Giannis, do they grant his wishes and trade him to an Eastern Conference contending team? The same Eastern Conference that the Bucks are in? Or do they say, that's cute, and avoid the Eastern Conference and trade him to the West? Or the third option is whoever has the best deal. Doesn't matter to the conference. So here's a couple scenarios here at play. Why would the Bucks, for anybody maybe kind of wondering, why would the Bucks trade Giannis to a team that he wants to go to? For one, the team that's acquiring Giannis probably wants to re-sign him, wants to sign him to a max extension. And if Giannis is not willing to sign a max extension with that team, then the team probably isn't going to offer as much for Giannis or maybe even have an offer at all. Unless the Bucks can find a team like the Spurs found with the Raptors when they traded Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard goes there for a year, wins a ship, doesn't re-sign. Do you think the Raptors are regretting it, though? I would say probably not. Is there a team that is willing to come up with a package for Giannis without, saying, hey, we got to make sure that we're gonna sign him to an extension? Going to kind of put all their chips in for 1 year. It's a huge risk. A huge risk, no question about it. But ultimately, that team acquiring Giannis more than not is going to want to sign him to an extension. So if Giannis, let's say just throwing a Western Conference team out there. Let's say like the Mavericks. I don't know. I'm just saying the Mavericks. Say the Mavericks throw out a big deal, proposal to the Bucks for Giannis, and the Bucks want to trade him to Dallas because that is the best deal in place. But Giannis has said, yeah, I'm not going to sign an extension there, though. That's the potential issue. And then if the Mavericks hear that, they're like, okay, we're going to pull the trade then. Or, all right, we're still interested, but we're not going to give you nearly as much. That's the balancing act. So that's kind of that's a big reason why, in case anybody's wondering, like, well, why would the Bucks want to try to trade Giannis to a team that he wants to go to? Why does he have any say in this? He has a say in whether he's going to sign an extension or not. Now, if he was under contract for a couple years or a few years, then that's probably not that big of a deal. And then you can just be like, all right, Giannis, thanks for your input, but I'm going to do what's best for the team, to quote Draft Day. And I get it. I'm kind of this way too. I don't want to see Giannis go to the Eastern Conference. If I had my preference, I don't want him to get traded to an Eastern Conference opponent if he does get traded. But I'm also at the same time where I want the best deal. If you're going to trade Giannis, if you're going to trade arguably the best player in franchise history that brought back a championship a few years ago, go out there and get the best deal possible, regardless of what conference it's in. This isn't like the NFL or Major League Baseball, where you're going to necessarily be trading him to a division rival. The NBA's got divisions, but there's not like major, at least the Bucks don't have a major rival. Right? I mean, we don't have that. Some teams have their rivals, and some teams may not do any deals with each other in that. Bucks aren't really in that position. It's not like the Packers and the Bears or the Packers and the Vikings, potentially working on a big trade, or Brewers and Cubs and Brewers or Cardinals. You know what I mean? Even baseball, when you get to like the trading deadline, if one team is just poo-poo, and I feel like that's a little bit more open for business possibly, but I don't think that matters a whole lot in the NBA. So on my fan side, would I like to see Giannis get traded to an Eastern Conference team? No. But I also want the absolute best deal possible. There was one crazy, I think I saw somebody, let me see if I can find it really quick. I didn't save it because it was just somebody throwing out a potential trade. Yeah, this was from a fellow by the name of Jake Weinbach. A blockbuster trade idea between the Celtics, Blazers, and Bucks. The Celtics would get Giannis. Blazers would get Jaylen Brown and A.J. Green. Bucks would get Jeremiah Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson. The 27th overall pick in this year's draft via Boston. 2027 first-round picks from Boston and Portland. 2028 first-round pick from Portland. 2029 first-round pick via Portland, Boston, Milwaukee. 2030 first-round pick from Portland. That would be that would be a treat. Not as many picks as I would like for this year's draft, because this draft is pretty good and pretty deep, and it's a very late pick with the 27th overall for this year. But that one I'd be interested in. So again, back to Mark Stein, the quote from him in his latest piece about about Miami and Boston. Quote, I've heard something similar from a few different teams since the Chicago Draft Combine. Miami and Boston are increasingly perceived to be the potential trade destinations that currently most intrigue Giannis. Boston, I mean, Giannis, again, with Boston's head coach, Giannis has talked glowingly about him. And I think what's kind of a thing that you look at with those two franchises? Outside of maybe of a championship roster with Boston, or you look at Miami, because I know a lot of people are probably like, well, Miami's not like a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. I think a common theme that those two teams have, head coach stability. I think that's the biggest thing that maybe Giannis is looking for. All right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. We'll be right back after these quick words. Summer is almost here. It is here, right? Memorial Day weekend. That means it's time to hit the road in something that you love. At Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power? Looking for comfort? How about reliability? Hey, they've got it all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure you're riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. We've got a few texts. Mark says, I'm with you and Surveyor. No socks and sandals. Thank you. Thank you. We've got Mike that says maybe a little broad, but I'd like to go to the Olympics one day, winter or summer. Wouldn't matter. I think that would be a good one, too, especially with those events where maybe, and I don't know the whole process of it, but I feel like, okay, you get in, you just kind of post up and you sit back for a few hours and watch a lot of events. I feel like whether it's maybe some of the swimming or some of the track and field or what have you, I'd be game for that. Just kind of sit back in that. We got Rando. I would go to Wimbledon, rugby, and the Kentucky Derby. Well, there you go, Rando. You gotta hook up with Surveyor to go check out a rugby game. So, speaking of Surveyor, you know what grinds my gears? He says all the out-of-towners coming into the small Northwoods towns and trying to change things because they have a, quote, lake house. If you don't like the town because the grocery store doesn't carry your gluten-free potato chips and the local bar doesn't have an obscure tap selection, then don't come. We get it. We live in a gorgeous area and want all to enjoy the beauty that is Western Wisconsin. But if you show up and start complaining about the town or locals, then just go away. Nice. Did you have an experience this weekend, Surveyor, or is that just in general? Is there more to that you need to kind of get off your chest? But I guess one thing from a football standpoint, too, Packers do kick off OTAs today. So we'll get a little bit of a glimpse. I'm sure that we're probably going to hear from some of the coaches and maybe even from some of the players and such. So get ready for the attendance. That's what everybody's going to be kind of following is the attendance. Who's there, who's not there for OTAs. But it's a step in the process, step leading up to training camp and preseason, kind of one of our first glimpses of, and we've seen a little bit here over the past couple weeks and such, but rookies kind of getting in with the veterans and such, and I'm sure for a lot of people they're going to be kind of curious. Is Tucker Kraft going to get anything working? Micah Parsons, kind of some updates on their recovery and such. But yeah, so there you have it. You have a little bit of OTAs coming down your way for the green and gold. So, but we got a couple messages surrounding Giannis. One texter don't have a name, can't give you any cred, but they said they like that trade package between the Bucks, Celtics, and Blazers. Gives them a lot of picks to potentially draft or maybe move to acquire proven talent. Another texter says, I would rather not Giannis play for the Eastern Conference, but I agree you have to get the best package possible if you do trade Giannis, which I still hope the Bucks do not. Another texter says, I think they have to go out there. This is from Ben. I think they have to go out there and get the absolute best deal possible. But I would be lying if I said I hope it's not an Eastern Conference team. I just want this whole process to get over with. Let's get to the draft so we can finally have an answer of what the Bucks are going to be doing. I think we're all kind of in that state too. Maybe not some of the talking heads out there, but I think from a Bucks fan standpoint, we just want some clarity. We want some finality to the situation. Let's get this thing done with. Is he staying? Is he going? If he's staying, great. What are some of the offseason moves now to surround him with talent? Let's focus on that. If he's not going, bummer. Okay. Or if he is going, bummer. Okay. Let's see what the trade package is. Let's see what the draft's like. Are they going to do anything else this offseason? Free agents. We just want this one question answered. and we want to get through it. That's where I'm at. It's where I think a lot of Bucs fans are at this point. Let's just get an answer. Let's get this thing figured out so we can stop talking about it. And we can stop reading about rumors. We can stop reading about what does he mean by this Instagram post. Let's just get the answer so we can move on. And there's going to be two different paths to this thing. It's going to be the path of, all right, how do you surround Giannis with talent then? Or it's going to be the path, how do you replace Giannis? How do we, not only Giannis, but how do you rebuild the whole team? Which path are they going to go down? We want to know. That's where we're at. And there's frustration from a lot of Bucs fans. There's an annoyance from Bucs fans talking about Giannis, talking about this situation. There's an annoyance from non-NBA fans that don't care, but it's just constantly getting talked about. I get it. I understand it. But let's also be real. If the Bucs do decide to move on from Giannis, that is a big moment in Wisconsin sports history. It is a huge moment in Wisconsin sports history if it happens. You are trading arguably the franchise's best player of all time if it were to happen. Now, I wasn't around when the Bucs traded Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a.k.a. Skyhook, whatever we want to call. I wasn't around. I don't know what that was like. But I also know social media wasn't around at that time. So if this does happen for Giannis and the Bucs, it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be blown up all over. And, when Favre got traded, obviously that was a big deal. That was a huge deal. News, kind of a culture shift, just a chapter closing and a new one beginning with Rodgers. The Rodgers one, it was like, okay, it's time. But the difference between some of those, like the Favre one, they got a third-round pick from the Jets. Rodgers one, they ended up getting a second-round pick. Could have been a first. This Giannis one, and a lot of people still, Favre was at the end. Rodgers was at the end. Giannis still has a couple of years left of some really good prime basketball if he can just stay healthy with his knees and such. And I know that's a question mark for a lot of people. But this would be a massive return. Massive, massive return, which is a little bit different than like Rodgers and Favre. I'm trying to come up with some more current examples from a Wisconsin sports perspective, but Rando says, grind my gears. I am with the other texter about the out-of-staters trying to change the towns and also people moving to the country and then complaining about country smells. Like when they are preparing the fields, like that smell. Is that time of year when you're driving by? We were playing ball last week. The kids are like, what is that? I'm like, it's Wisconsin, baby. Getting the fields planted, primed up, and ready to go. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll get back to some more baseball talk coming up here. We got Harrison on the mound tonight. So we'll talk a little bit about Kyle Harrison. So we got that. And Logan Henderson. Update on him. We may not see him tomorrow. He's scheduled to start the game tomorrow, but we may not see him. Dealing with a little bit of a back issue. But at least the Brewers have some depth with starting pitching. They did send down Robert Gasser, but maybe we'll get another Coleman Crow. I'd have to see where he last started with with Nashville and such. So, all right, we'll switch gears and we'll talk some baseball coming up after these few words. Sunshine, road trips, and summer adventures are calling. Is your vehicle ready? At AGM Automotive in Eau Claire, they will make sure that you hit the road with confidence. From AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections, AGM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. So don't let car trouble slow down your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. Maybe you're going to be road tripping to a Brewers game, and maybe you're going to be seeing the Miz Kid or tonight's starter, Mr. Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison, so far, Mizorowski has set a very, very, very high bar for his performance in the month of May, but Kyle Harrison is right behind him, too. In 4 games started, Harrison is 3-0 with a 1.23 ERA. His lone no decision was that May 9th game against the Yankees, where he went 4 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. 6 strikeouts in that performance, though, too. But nonetheless, just a fantastic start to his season with the Brewers this year, and he's having a fantastic month of May with that 3-0 record and a 1.23 ERA. So we'll see if he can, I know was it a couple weeks ago, he was kind of asked, hey, how do you feel about following up Mizorowski? How do you follow up what Mizorowski does? And Mizorowski's been pitching at a very high level, but I don't know, it just maybe sets that bar high, something to reach for a guy like Kyle Harrison. It's like, all right, that's the expectation. That's what we got to do. We got to set that bar high. Performance-wise, we got to go out there. We got to make sure we are dialed in. That guy's doing it day in and day out. It's up to the rest of us. It's up to me to kind of reach that mark too, to hit that mark. Of all the trades this offseason, this prior offseason that Matt Arnold and this Brewers staff or Brewers front office did, the Kyle Harrison, getting him is just, to me, has got to be the best move. Maybe one of the best of all offseason across Major League Baseball, if not the best one. All right, crystal clear in Centerville, says Surveyor. Shout out Centerville. We got anybody else listening down in Centerville? But anyways, back to Brewers and such. When we go back to our preseason predictions, Brandon and I, we did a lot of, predictions and different areas of the Brewer season. And one of them was, which new pitcher, which newcomer are you most excited? Which newcomer do you think is going to be up there? And my pick was Kyle Harrison, but Kyle Harrison is blowing the door off the expectations I had this year. He's pitching even better than I thought he was going to. Now, a lot of season left. It could change. You hope not. You hope he continues to pitch at a high level. But right now, given what we have seen currently, dude's been awesome. And if Mizorowski wasn't pitching at a Cy Young level, we'd be talking about Kyle Harrison maybe being, for this year, if we had to power rank the starting pitchers for the Brewers, maybe he'd be the number one. Just on a current power ranking structure. But Mizorowski, with the way he's going about things, he's clearly the top pitcher and maybe top pitcher in the league. Cy Young odds way early to be talking about, to kind of maybe be looking at these. But I have to. I got to look at it to see where Mizorowski's on this list here. Okay, third best. This is according to Sportsbook on FanDuel. Christopher Sanchez has the best at a plus 210, or actually second best, excuse me. Christopher Sanchez plus 210, Mizorowski's plus 320. Then it's Paul Skeens at a plus 440, Chris Sale plus 650. All right. Yeah, I mean, Sanchez is having a fantastic season too. When you look at what Christopher Sanchez is doing so far, he's 5-2. He's got a 1.62 ERA. He's 86 Ks on there too. So yeah, I can't argue too much about Sanchez getting again. It's incredibly early, but they got the same record at 5-2. Sanchez third in ERA, 1.62. Mizorowski fourth in ERA at 1.83. No question, 100 Ks for Mizorowski. He's tops in Major League Baseball, and he's got the second best WHIP at a .83. That's where Sanchez is a little bit far behind, 1.15, which is 35th in Major League Baseball. Let me go through some of the other numbers here for Mizorowski. Let me come on. I want to bring this up. Let's go. Here we go. All right, Ashby's still up there in wins, but who's the next closest in Ks here? So Mizorowski's got 100. Dylan Cease is next at 62. WHIP. Who's got a better WHIP than Mizorowski right now? Paul Skeens, but not by much. 0.82. So Mizorowski's at a 0.83. Paul Skeens has a 0.82. He is just a skosh off of having Major League Baseball's number one ranked WHIP. He's first in strikeouts. He is fourth in ERA, and just kind of looking at the guys ahead of him. Cam's up there from the Yankees. Nick Martinez, and then Christopher Sanchez. Cam's got a 1.50. I mean, that's legit. But, yeah, easily in the Cy Young conversation as we are halfway, maybe not quite halfway. We're about 31% way through the season. I was going to say halfway through the second quarter, but right now I would say it's between Sanchez and Mizorowski as the best starting pitchers in the National League. If we were to, again, kind of do a weekly power ranking at this point. Speaking of power rankings, once in a while I always kind of just look at it, see where the gauge is. They're not the be-all, tell-all. But MLB.com, Braves, Rays, Dodgers, Brewers. And then the Yankees rounding out the top five. This was before the Cardinals game. The Brewers were feeling on top of the world after beating the Dodgers, of course, the team that knocked them out in the NLCS last year on Friday night. Their 12th win of their previous 14 games. But then the Dodgers reasserted their dominance, outscoring the Brewers at 16-4 in the next two games and leaving Milwaukee frustrated and knowing what their measuring stick is once again. Again, this was before the Cardinals win from yesterday. But did we learn? Let's go back to that Dodgers series, okay? Was there anything from that Dodgers series out besides losing the series? Was that a series that showed you or you believe gave you plenty of examples like why this Brewers team will not go to the World Series? And I guess what I'm trying to say is, did this series against the Dodgers show you like, yep, this is why they need more offense? They're scoring a lot of runs, but they need more power. Is that what you take away from that series against the Dodgers? If we use that as a measuring stick, take away the loss, because that's obviously the easy answer. But what from that series showed you, or in your opinion, showed you what's going to keep the Brewers away from going to the World Series, getting past the Dodgers? Is it straight up they don't have enough power? So when they get into those type of games where, they got to score a bunch of runs, they don't have that type of offense to do so? Or do you chalk it up mostly because, well, they didn't have their top three pitchers out there? They didn't have Mizorowski. They didn't have Harrison. They didn't have Logan Henderson. Brandon Woodruff still is hurt. So do you give it a little bit of a pass because they threw out Robert Gasser. They threw out Brandon Sproats. I guess they did throw Logan Henderson in game 1, and, they won that game. So what do you take away if we use that Dodgers series about any, prospects about this Brewers team going to World Series? You know what I'm trying to say? Or is it like, no, if Miz pitches, it's different. If Harrison pitches, it's different. Or do you still feel like that's the reason why this team still needs a power bat? That series is the reason we need somebody else at third base. Or you just it's baseball and it's May and not a whole lot to take from. All right, let's take a quick break as we start to wrap up the second hour. We'll be back after these quick words. Dings, dents, or something more serious? Don't stress about it. Just head to Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. Coming up in about, let's say, 15, 20 minutes or so, well, we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk a little college sports with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Talk a little bit about potential expansion in the college football playoff and that. So we'll hit that up because it sounds like the Big Ten is really pushing for that. But we'll talk some college sports with RJ. Speaking of college, shout out to the Blue Golds Outdoor Track and Field National Championships. Men's team finishing team-wise 5th, and the women's team finishing in 7th. So congrats to the UW Eau Claire Blue Gold men's and women's track and field teams at the Outdoor National Championships. We've got Eau Claire Express game number 2 tonight, taking on the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. It's Midwest Family Broadcasting Night. They're going to be handing out some of the magnet schedules and such. So first pitch for tonight's game, 7:05 at Carson Park before the Express hit the road for a few days with a stop at Rochester for a couple games, Thunder Bay, and then they'll be back in town on Sunday taking on Thunder Bay. So, but the Express last night starting their season, close game, high-scoring game right away. 9-8 loss to Fond du Lac. So, what else do we got on the docket here? We've got Ben saying, I think if anything from that Dodger series just proves again that the Brewers need a little bit more power when it comes to the playoffs. This has been an issue for this team for the last few years. They need one more power bat for me to feel confident that this is a team that can go to the World Series. Dave says, besides losing a series, which I thought they were going to against the Dodgers, I'm trying not to put a whole lot in there because the Brewers didn't throw out their best horses. But I think it does prove that even though they are scoring some runs this year, they need another bat to put in the middle of that lineup to be a power threat. Hopefully with Yelich now back in the lineup and collecting a couple of home runs, maybe he can be that guy. And then we've got Charles that says the Brewers swept the Dodgers last year in the regular season, lost in the playoffs to better pitching, hitting at that point. It's baseball. If you get hit hot at the right time, you can beat anybody. Get to the playoffs and hope that you get hot. Is that kind of where it's, I mean, yeah, hear a lot of people say that. Momentum. I know some people aren't believers in momentum, which I get it. It's not the be-all, tell-all stat when it comes to sports or be-all, tell-all indicator. But I'm a huge believer in momentum. Huge. I mean, there's so many examples of riding that wave, riding that momentum to going to a championship game or winning a championship. Doesn't happen all the time. But I think it's a crucial factor. Crucial factor. Rando says, I love the Brewers. I love the Brewers team as it is, but would love another hitter. Keep your thoughts coming. All right, you can text us on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the Section 105 chat room. Don't forget, it is a Toyson Ford, a Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what's grinding your gears? All right, send them on over. We'll do a little sports confession. What do you got to confess? What's some of your sports sins or sports confessions that you want to throw out there? Okay, also, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'll do my I'm not saying, but I'm just saying coming up just past the 8 o'clock hour. But I'm not saying blank. I'm just saying blank. Throw it over there. Want to hear what you got, okay? Text it or send it on the video stream chat. Plenty more Brewers talk coming up as we approach halftime here, too, as we get set for Game 2 of this series against the Cardinals. I want to get back to a little bit more Jacob Misiorowski talk because, again, what we're witnessing here is pretty fantastic. And hopefully as Brewers fans, we get to watch it for a long time. And hopefully at this level, maybe even just a skosh better. But this is another kind of nugget on the run that Misiorowski is currently at. He has gone more than a month without allowing an extra base hit. He's faced 138 batters in that span and struck out 56 of them. He's one of only 3 pitchers in the last century and the first since Bob Welch in 1980 to go 6 straight starts of 5 or more innings pitched and no extra base hits. That's from Kurt Hogg from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And you want to know the fastest pitches ever thrown by a starting pitcher? Well, Misiorowski has the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spots. And then it's Jordan Hicks. And then Misiorowski for a few more. Unreal. He is ridiculous. 57 pitches, over 100 miles per hour in his game yesterday. Most in the pitch tracking era. As we mentioned, he's already got 100 Ks in just 64 innings pitched. Man. All right, shot clock's going to cut us off, and we are going to be at halftime here. So send us your Toys to Ford Grind My Gears Tuesdays, your sports confessions, your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. All right, we're going to talk with RJ coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll switch gears and talk some college sports with him. Maybe throw a little Badger chat in there, too. I know it's kind of the downtime, off time for a lot of Badger sports and such, but we'll throw a little bit in there as part of our discussion. So, and yeah, plenty more Brewers talk as we get set for Game 2 against the Cardinals tonight, where the Brewers will be looking to at least secure a series win against the Redbirds, a big series against a division rival and a team that's currently in second place, just 2.5 games behind the Brewers in the standings. So lots of Brewers talk still coming your way here this morning. Shot clock's going to cut us off here. We've got some news updates, and we will be back to kick off the third hour after these quick words. All right, third hour, kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning of May 26th. Thanks for hanging out with us. Whether you've been listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at our website, sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You've got your Alexa devices, your smart devices, and, well, the video stream that's also up and rolling here this morning. Hey, if you are at our website, don't forget to sign up. Sign your team up now for the 6th annual Kasper Classic coming your way Friday, August 6th. August 7th. Excuse me, getting my dates mixed up because we have a tailgate Thursday for the Express game on 6th. August 7th, all right? Friday, August 7th. Two-person team. There's $90 to get you your 9 holes, your cart, your meal, some drink tickets, all that good stuff. We've got just only a couple tee times left for 10 a.m., we still got tee times left for the 1 p.m. and the 7:30 a.m. So 7:30 a.m., we got tee times available. 10 a.m., just a couple. 1 p.m., we've got some available there too. But we've sold out every single year, so make sure you get your team now. If you've signed up before and you want to do it again, you haven't signed up, get to it. All right. Again, WAYYradio.com, sportstalk1051.com. We're going to talk with R.J. Cardinal. R.J. Cardinal coming up here in about, let's say, 15 minutes or so. I want to get his thoughts on the Big Ten, which seems like the Big Ten is really pushing to expand the college football playoff to 24 teams. So I want to get his thoughts on that. And, I mean, it could be something that maybe we see really quick. Also, his thoughts on the age-based model that the NCAA is discussing could eye up for a June vote. So if you're not sure what that is, the NCAA said on Friday that athletes whose 4th year of college eligibility was completed by spring of 2026 would not be given any more eligibility under the new model. It would also give flexibility to currently enrolled athletes with eligibility after the 25-26 academic year to apply the age-based model or continue previous eligibility rules, whichever is more beneficial to that individual. So we'll get RJ's takes and thoughts on all of that stuff. So that, again, about 15 minutes or so. Let's do a little, well, before that, we've got NBA playoffs, the Knicks getting some brooms out. Hey, give them credit. They've been playing really well. You want to talk about momentum? The New York Knickerbockers, they've got all the momentum in the world right now in the postseason. They've been sweeping. They've had some extra rest. Don't worry about rust with that team. They've been, well, maybe a little bit of rust in the first half of that, first 3 quarters of their game against the Cavs. After that, swept the Cavs. They're playing with a boatload of momentum, and they're going to have a little time off here as they wait to find out if they're going to play the Spurs or the Thunder in the NBA Finals. Game 5 between Spurs and Thunder tonight, with that series tied at 2 apiece. We also have the Stanley Cup playoffs going on. Carolina picking up a 3-2 victory in OT last night against Montreal. Carolina leads that series 3-2. But maybe a little bit of a surprise in the other one. Vegas is up 3-0 against the Colorado Avalanche. And Avalanche are on the verge of being swept tonight. Game 4 tonight. Vegas up 3-0 in that series. So maybe Vegas getting back to the Stanley Cup final. We'll see. But I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. What you got for me? I'm going to go to the NBA world. And I've heard Kenny Atkinson say, I think it was after their Game 3 loss. He's the head coach of the Cavs. Their Game 3 loss to the Knicks, saying, well, analytically, we won 2 of these 3 games. And then James Harden yesterday, after their loss, saying that they were the better team. I'm not saying those are some of the most annoying excuses, and it's not the first time we've heard players, coaches say this stuff. And I'm not saying it's the most annoying thing in the world, but I'm just saying it's one of the dumbest things in the world. Okay? The whole, well, analytically we won too. Would you want a participation ribbon for that? But yeah, I felt like we were the better team. Do you want a certificate saying that? Doesn't matter. You weren't. The proof's on the scoreboard. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard. And the scoreboard says that you guys got swept. Analytics, be darn. Talent overall, be darn. You were not the better team. You could have led in a certain category, doesn't make you a better team. Analytics could tell you that, oh yeah, you should have won. All right. If anything, that's not an argument to be made in a positive light for your team. You want to sit there and say analytics shows that we were the better team 2 of the first 3 games, then that doesn't bode well for your team overall. Then why didn't you win? I can't stand stuff like that when it comes to a sports rule. Well, after losses, I thought we were better team, and numbers prove that we were the better team. The only number that matters is the scoreboard, is the final score. That's the only thing that matters. It's not analytical numbers or, man, we had, more shots, or we did this better, we did that better. Doesn't matter. The only stat that matters in any sport, the only one, the number one, the head honcho, is what is that score on the scoreboard? That's the only one. We can break down numbers. We can break down stats all day, every day. And we do. Right? We do. The only one, the top tier, statistic, stat, number you want to call it, is the score, the team score, when the clock hits 0 or time is out or the round is over. If you're talking golf, what's that score say? What's that number say? It's the only one that matters. Not how many passing yards you had in the game. Not how many, hits you had in the game. How many home runs you had. Obviously, home runs lead to runs and such, but still, those aren't the most important ones. It's the scoreboard. So to sit there, whether you're Kenny Atkinson or whether you're James Harden, and I thought we were the better team this series. No, you weren't. You got swept. You were not the better team. And don't throw out, well, a couple games here we were the better analyst. No, you weren't. Okay, you weren't. You want a banner that says analytically we were a better team? Go right ahead. Just ridiculous. But I know Knicks, if you are one that follows a lot of national shows, national talking heads, it might be a little unbearable with a lot of the Knicks talk. But I get it. I mean, the Knicks, they're back there first time since 1999, and I believe that was the strike-shortened season of the NBA when they went up against the Spurs. And I believe, if my memory serves me correct, when I used to be a diehard NBA fan, the Knicks were an 8 seed, and they got there, but they ran into the Tim Duncan, David Robinson Spurs and lost it. We might have a rematch of that, depending on if the Spurs can get through the Thunder. We might have a little bit of a rematch there. But, the NBA's loving this. They're loving that. Finally, the New York Knickerbockers are back in the NBA Finals. And I know, we don't talk Knicks a lot. We're not a Knicks station. We're not a Knicks program. But I've been seeing a lot of people right now saying if the Knicks win and Jalen Brunson is a big-time player, first of all, I think he's going to have to be a big-time player, regardless if it's the Spurs or Thunder that they would have to play. If he's going to have to be a big-time player. But if the Knicks win, there's already people saying he's the greatest Knick ever. That's That's quite the title. I don't know if I could, with a lot of the Knicks players. I mean, you've got in the history. I mean, Clyde Frazier, Patrick Ewing, Willis Reed, Earl the Pearl Monroe. I mean, that's pretty that's pretty high company. I mean, Willis Reed, for crying out loud, won 2 championships. Okay, Patrick Ewing, yeah, he never won a championship, but player-wise, one of the best big men of all time, one of the best players of all time. Yeah, this was from CBS Sports. 4 wins away from becoming the greatest Knick of all time. Ooh, yeah. I don't know if I can co-sign on that yet. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to switch gears here a little bit, and we're going to talk with RJ Cardinal. I want to talk some college sports with him. Big Ten, are they really trying to push for college football expansion to 24 teams? What are your thoughts on that? As a fan, as a college football fan, as a sports fan, what are your thoughts on 24? You're probably thinking, hey, 24 playoff games, let's do it. But is that enough? Is that too much? When is it going to stop? It's kind of like the NCAA tournament, right? Stop expanding. You think it should go 24? Without trying to figure out, because it'd probably be like too much math in that, how you're going to do all these different games and scheduling-wise. That's not your problem. But as a fan, would you like to see the college football playoff expand to 24? We'll get RJ's thoughts coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it is time to get outdoors, make some memories, and be ready for whatever the season may bring. That's where Tilden Gun comes in. Whether you're gearing up for some target practice or heading to the range or preparing for your next outdoor adventure, Tilden Gun has a selection and expertise to get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they got everything that you may need, all backed by knowledgeable service that you could trust. And at Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy, it's about making sure that you feel confident, informed, and ready every single time you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the outdoors, be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. All right, switch gears here, and let's catch up with our guy, Mr. R.J. Cardinal, who is joining us here this morning. R.J., how you doing, bud?
Oh, doing pretty good after the long weekend. How about yourself?
Not bad, man. It's starting to feel like summer finally with some of the warmer temperatures and such. It kind of began a few days ago, still, wearing a jacket and that, but now you got the shorts and polo. I'm ready for golf and fishing and all that stuff, dude. So.
Oh, same. I was up in Minocqua over the weekend.
Ooh.
And the Friday and Saturday, well, Friday was rainy. Saturday was cloud covered, but, in the 60s. And then it boomed to 80 yesterday. And I sat outside on a dock for most of the day. So I am feeling the summer right now with how red my arms and legs are.
That's awesome. Well worth it, though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't take away just quiet, and it's a smaller lake up there, so it's not like Lake Minocqua or anything like that. But, yeah, sitting on a quiet lake after people from Illinois have left for the weekend already and just taking in the silence and the sun. It was great.
Yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Well, hey, I know we don't have a lot, from a Badger side of things, but something I did really want to kind of talk to you about is a potential 24-team college football playoff, because it seems like the Big Ten is in favor of this. Now, I know Greg Sankey from the SEC, he talked a little bit towards the end of last week and such, and seems to be, maybe a little bit back and forth and such. But the fact that the Big Ten says here, I was reading a little bit from Pete Thamel, said the Big Ten coaches and athletic directors put up a united front in support of expanding to 24 last week at the league's meetings in California. What are your thoughts, and why is the Big Ten, in your opinion, in favor of expanding to 24? Is it just straight up money? Is it as simple as that? It's just money?
I think it's money and more teams from the conference in the playoff, which will generate more money. So they can do it under they're going after it under the guise of college football. Well, FBS division is the last last sport really that doesn't give, quote unquote, everybody a chance to win a title. So they feel moving to 24 teams, surpassing 16 or 18, and going right to 24 will put you in a model along the lines of when baseball expanded their playoffs multiple times, when the NFL expanded their playoffs multiple times, and they've had the commissioner was working with baseball when they last expanded, and then I think Maryland's athletic director was in the NFL when they last expanded, and even though everybody said it was going to dilute things, you still have the buys, you have wild card weekend where everybody's still watching. They're not looking at it and saying, well, we're going to surpass that. And so the Big Ten is looking at eyes on the television, extra games, because you go to 16, you add one more or two more games, and you don't put the money in the pockets of the conferences. So I think we've seen, based on the last TV deal, the Big Ten is really looking at the money side of it. As conferences expand, you'll need to compensate them for being members of the conference, and the only way to do that is really through television contracts and things like that. So the $1 billion deal that the Big Ten gets, and everybody's upset that, Northwestern and Purdue and Wisconsin and some of the teams that aren't winning games right now are making more money than Alabama and Clemson and all those other schools that are traditionally up near the top of college football. So also with this plan, at least in the eyes of the Big Ten, early losses won't affect your chances at making the college football playoff as they would under, the 12 that we've seen, even though, Alabama loses to a bad Florida State team and still somehow makes the college football playoff. But year in, year out, if you're like a top 10 team and maybe you lose a game, one game, two games, but then, the rest of your season wins gets you staying up there, you're pretty much a lock into the college football playoff. So you'll always see Alabama in there. You'll always see Ohio State in there. You'll always see, name a blue blood. If you're ranked high at the beginning of the year, you're probably going to be in the college football playoff. A couple weeks ago, you had the Big 12 and the SEC or ACC kind of be on the side of the SEC, but then within the past few weeks, not sure what happened, but they've started pushing for the 24 team as well. And probably, I would say, because of the fact that they know they'll be able to have more teams in there as well, where we've seen in the past few years, here are the locks, and most of them have been Big Ten and SEC teams, and it's basically said, well, if you win the ACC and maybe take second, you'll be in. If you win the Big 12, you're in, and the rest of you aren't good enough to be in there. So you expand to 24, those two conferences get more in, and it gives people more of a shot. UCLA's new head coach, who just came over there from James Madison, who was in the college football playoff last year, is for the expansion because you can start to maybe get Cinderella stories in college football. I mean, I think we kind of saw that the past two seasons with Indiana, but also Indiana threw a lot of money in it. But you look at that team that won the national championship, for the most part, they're 4 stars and under. They didn't have a lot of 5-star people on that roster, even with the transfers. So, it's one of those. When the Big Ten came out and kind of started laying out the reasons why, you can see where it might be beneficial to college football as a whole. It'll totally diminish the bowl system. It'll wipe out conference championship games. But with those going away, if your conference gets more teams in, it can make up for that lost revenue of the conference championship games. So there's a lot of good. And, I mean, I get you could say it's watered down, and, it probably will be. Because, I mean, we have seen it where some of these teams, as you see the teams who were the last 4 in, really didn't belong in there. But, what any given Saturday, any given Sunday in football, it could be something different. But it's under the guise of making it better for the sport, but really for money. And will it dilute it? I think at the college football level, probably yes. But as we all know now, it's just money grabs for what we know now for college athletics. So we'll see where it goes. It seems 3 of the 4 Power 4 conferences are in on it, and we'll see what happens when the SEC talked and see what they come out and say. And it'll be interesting to see how this goes moving forward.
I was also reading too that it sounds like the Big Ten is either in favor of 24 or staying at 12. Why just those two, do you think?
Because the proposal for 16 right now would then be starting a week earlier. So you eliminate the conference football championship games, but you only add 2 games. So
Okay.
that's not getting anybody compensated for the loss of their championship game, which the Big Ten says, I think, brings in, I forgot what it was, like a number where I was looking at it and I was like, really? um, trying to remember what it says, the conference. The conference title game, collectively, for the conference title games are worth $200 million. So if you just add 2 games, there's no way that's making up for every conference's collective championship game equaling $200 million. So, yeah, it's the money compensation to add 12 more teams, double your games, and be able to fiscally be okay with losing your conference championship games.
Gotcha. All right. So, man, there's a lot of numbers and stuff in there too. I'm glad you're breaking it down for us. So,
I mean, we've like everything we've talked about when the Big Ten expanded and added the 4 West Coast teams. It was all about adding the market size. It really didn't matter who the teams were. Just like when they added D.C. and New York, and it was like, meh, well, okay. I mean, they're not great, but hey, we got the TV markets, and that added money to the Big Ten network. So, this as a whole would sweeten the pot for everybody in terms of the TV deals paying out the conferences and whatever compensation you get in terms of participating, because in the bowl system you got money for going to the bowl and then an extra payment if you won the bowl, and then that went to the conference, and then the conference can divvy that out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, see if the SEC tags along or changes its tune to go to 24. I don't know. I think they see it as the Big Ten getting richer, and I don't think they're happy about that, because as we've seen now, when everybody can pay players, whether it's over the table or under the table, the Big Ten has now won 3 national championships in a row, just won a basketball national championship in both men's and women's. So yeah, it's I don't think they like seeing the Big Ten be successful, and not just at football, but across multiple sports.
Staying with kind of some college, maybe some different changes in rules. I know the NCAA is discussing an age-based model that maybe a vote could happen as soon as next month. The NCAA said on Friday that athletes whose 4th year of college eligibility was completed by the spring of 2026 would not be given any more eligibility under the new model. It also would give flexibility to currently enrolled athletes with eligibility after the 25-26 academic year to apply the age-based model or continue previous eligibility rules, whichever is more beneficial to the individual. I mean, it probably doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, RJ, but I mean, the last couple of years, how many times are we talking about players who are playing in their 7th year, or 6th year, 8, whatever the case may be. And a lot of it was, COVID based and such, but this, I would imagine, is a direct response to a lot of these players finding maybe some loopholes and continuing their college playing days.
Yeah, because they could take their redshirt year. And I think really this is focused on men's basketball and football for the most part, but then it has a trickle-down effect for every other sport, because they say there's not going to be sport-specific rules. You look at things like hockey. You have some freshmen who come in at 20 or 21 for one reason or another. I mean, there's can't-miss prospects who will be, go right into college, and then at age 18 or 19, go right into college, spend a year or two, and then move on to the NHL. But there are guys who need to develop and let their body catch up to them in that sport, where they go play major juniors in Canada or play at the USHL, NAHL, and other leagues where you can play until you're like 20, I think, and then your game gets a little more improved. You're basically playing a professional schedule while still doing academic sides of things and things like that, and completing a degree. But they start at 20. So if you would have graduated at a certain time or turned 19, whichever comes first, your clock started then for your eligibility at the NCAA, even though you're not at an NCAA institution yet. So I'm not sure how they can legally do that. So I think, I haven't looked into that side of it at all, but it seems like there could be more lawsuits or legal proceedings based on that. I mean, you can say it's a rule, but you can't rule over people who aren't in the NCAA yet. And so, you have a trickle down with that. Other Olympic sports, depending on your year, there have been people who've taken an Olympic redshirt year, their freshman year or sophomore year, based on an Olympics coming up. So they're on the team, but they're not on the team, and they're away training for the Olympics. Then they come back, and I mean, depending on your year, you could catch an Olympics at your freshman and senior year, but still want to be able to go compete, but you can't now because of this age-based thing, where it's a lot of these people who even go to try out, sometimes they don't make the team, but they lost a year of eligibility now based on this new model. So it doesn't make sense. So it'll pass unanimously with the NCAA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of lawsuits and stuff, I got to ask you your thoughts. And I know we haven't really touched on it, but the Brendan Sorsby ordeal, Texas Tech quarterback. If anybody has been following along, he went into treatment for gambling. Apparently, was found gambling, betting on. He was with Indiana as a redshirt freshman. He was betting on games there. He had transferred to Texas Tech this year, and obviously now Texas Tech, or the NCAA is saying that can't play. They're suing. Brendan Sorsby is suing, filing a lawsuit against the NCAA as he seeks to play college football in 2026. I guess I don't see a path for him to play RJ. I mean, it seems to be pretty clear that if you're gambling, if you're sports, I mean, especially you're gambling on it. It's almost like the Pete Rose argument, I feel like, because he says he was gambling, for his team, picking Indiana to win and such. I don't know if I see a path for him to play. What are your thoughts what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's really one of those, I think somebody's just taking his money.
Yeah.
Or he's gambling on himself, if you will.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how you can think, hey, I bet on my team. And sure, you could have the purest intentions. He says it was because he wasn't playing. It was to make himself feel close to his teammates and enjoy the win with them. I mean, wow, that's if that doesn't say gambling addiction, I don't know what does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's true or not, but there are reports I saw coming out on social media and things where he was betting on lower division European soccer and some other stuff too. So, I mean, this guy has a problem. And like you said, like Pete Rose wasn't betting against his team, was betting on them, but still you were betting on college football, which, I mean, even I remember when Rick Neuheisel got caught doing a NCAA tournament bracket and got suspended for a few games. There's not, it doesn't make sense as to why he's suing to be eligible. And really, I mean, NFL teams can't be in what this is seen either. So it's not like I have to play to be able to go to the NFL. I would assume this is a big red flag for the NFL as well. I mean, you can, Art Schlichter, he was a quarterback for Ohio State in the late 70s, early 80s, I think, who it was found out later was gambling on games and things like that at Ohio State, and then was still gambling on games when he went to the NFL and played a couple of seasons, but got booted out of the NFL, I think, for gambling. So it's not. It just doesn't make sense to me is why he's doing this, other than I think somebody's trying to get money, or that guy at Texas Tech who spent all his money is spending his money to bring people in wants this guy to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. So, all right, RJ, before I let you go, have you heard anything, seen anything with the athletic director search for Wisconsin? I don't know if, I know Jamie Pollard a week or so ago was pretty critical of like the Big Ten commissioner and the SEC commissioner. So I don't know if that would he'd take himself out. I don't even know if he was a possibility, but it was a name that we threw out there. So, but have you seen anything or heard anything, or is it pretty quiet on your end too?
I mean, like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And that's like what I said. This could be one where we don't hear anything until somebody's hired. I mean, all it has to do is be posted for 2 weeks and somebody can be hired, and they wanted to have somebody hired by the summer. And I mean, school year's done. Guess it depends on when the UW feels like summer starts.
Yeah.
We're just waiting. Haven't really even heard possible candidates. Haven't seen anybody doing the plane trackers from anywhere from, wherever possible candidates might be coming from, saying, hey, there's a plane flying from X to Madison or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, I have not heard anything. I don't have as many people in the athletic department I know anymore, so I don't really have anybody to ask either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it is that going to be that case where we just kind of find out. Like you said, I know you mentioned it a couple times now, the Luke Fickell hire. We didn't see that thing coming, and there he is. There it was. So.
Yep. So, I mean, we even had newspapers reporting that Jim Leonard would be named the head coach on Sunday morning, and then Sunday morning comes and it's announced it's Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be that way. So who really knows? We're kind of waiting here, and it's almost out of sight, out of mind. But when you're coming to a dead period in a lot of Wisconsin athletics, kind of crazy. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. He's RJ Cardinal. Good stuff as always, buddy. Hey, appreciate the time. Take care of that tan you got going on there, dude. And we'll chat with you next week.
Well, it's not a tan yet. It's a little red. But
it'll get there. It'll get there. So.
And College World Series.
Oh,
congrats to UWM for qualifying.
Yeah.
Let's go. The only Division I baseball team in Wisconsin.
Hey, you're gonna open up a can of worms with that discussion now, man. So you just saying you're gonna open up with a lot of people asking the same question, why they don't. So
I had one of my good buddies is the coach manager of the UW club baseball team, and he's been pushing for every year for that to go, and he has Bud Selig on his side, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but he's been pushing for Wisconsin to bring back baseball for like over a decade now. So he's already trying to talk to the athletic department, and he talked with McIntosh, who seemed like he was actually open to bringing back baseball, at least according to my buddy, and he is looking forward to seeing who the new athletic director is, so he can contact them and put a little bug in their ear about bringing back baseball too. So, I know it's a can of worms. I know everybody wants to. I know a lot of people say they'd go watch games. Probably a lot of away games, because I don't know how many people would actually want to go watch baseball in, 40s and 50-degree weather. But there's some nutcases out there. I'd probably be one of them every now and then.
Really, really quick, if that were to happen, it would have to be like they would have to add another women's program or take away a men's program, correct?
Actually, Wisconsin is one of the few institutions that's Title IX compliant. They wouldn't have to add or take away anything right now. So, it's leaning heavily on the women's side, so they could add a baseball team and not have to add a women's sport or take away a men's sport.
Interesting. Good nugget. Well, I'm glad I
Yeah.
asked that. So, yeah, let's get the team then over there. So, heck yeah.
Yeah,
man.
right?
Exactly. All right, dude. Hey, appreciate it, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you next week, okay?
Absolutely. Sounds good. We'll talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal. Good stuff from RJ as usual. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be back after these few words. Don't forget tonight, got the Eau Claire Express Game 2 of their season. First pitch, 7:05 against the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. It is a magnet scheduled giveaway night. Brought to you by partnership with us, Midwest Family Broadcasting. So if you head to the game tonight, you'll get a free magnet schedule over there. So first pitch, 7:05 for Game 2. Season began yesterday for the Eau Claire Express. Fell just a bit short, but got some offense in that game. 9-8. So we'll see what's in store for tonight. The Express then will hit the road for the next few days. 2 games against Rochester, 2 games against Thunder Bay after tonight's game, and then they will return home on Sunday to take on Thunder Bay. So do got to take another break here because we went a little long with RJ, but that's okay. Good conversation, fun conversation with him. So let me kind of reset everything here for you. Coming up in the next hour, give me your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Give me your grind my gears, your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? And then your confessions. Give me a sports confession. All right. What you got? What you got out there? Send them on over, baby. We'll get to a couple more of mine in the next hour. So. Also tonight, we've got Brew Crew back at it. Kyle Harrison on the mound, first pitch, 6:40. Coverage begins on your radio dials at 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Brewers looking to secure at least a series win with a W tonight. So we'll see if that's see if they can get that thing done. What does Kyle Harrison have in store for us after Jacob Mizorowski? It's been fun watching these two go back to back, right? It's like Miz goes out there, puts on a show. Harrison comes out there and puts on a show. Next turn through the rotation, Miz puts on another show. Harrison puts on another show. A dynamic duo, man. A dynamic duo. So, all right, let's take our final break for this hour. Again, we got to play a little catch-up here. And then coming up in the next hour, we'll talk some more Brewers. We'll do some grind my gears. I'm not saying, but I'm just sayings, and some confessions, all that fun stuff. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes to wrap up the third quarter. When it comes to quality meat in Eau Claire, there's one name that locals trust. That's Mike's Star Market. From hand-cut steaks and fresh ground beef to homemade brats and specialty items, everything is prepared with care and packed with flavor. You planning a cookout or filling the freezer, or you just looking for something better for dinner tonight? Mike's Star Market's got you covered, baby. Stop on in today and taste the difference. Mike's Star Market, your hometown butcher shop in Eau Claire. It's the perfect time of year to get the grills going. Throw some brats, maybe a good steak on there. Maybe make some shish kebabs and such. We had the charcoal grill going for the last couple days here at the homestead. Throwing on some Mike's brats, throwing on some Mike's chicken on there too. So, chef's kiss. Love this time of year, man. Love it. All right. Again, I only got a minute left to the shot clock, so we'll begin the next hour. We'll hit up some more Brewers talk as we get set for Kyle Harrison. What has he got in store for us after another fantastic performance from Jacob Mizorowski yesterday? Just wonderful. And don't take this for granted. Don't take this for granted, what we're witnessing from Jacob Mizorowski. We are witnessing something incredibly special with this guy. It's so fun to watch. So fun to watch. And Kyle Anderson is a lot of fun to watch, too. So excited for Game 2 tonight. See if the Brewers can secure a series win against those pesky Cardinals. Grind my gears. Toyson brought to you by Toyson Ford. Sports Confessions in your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Send those on over. You only got an hour. We only got an hour left, so get them on in. All right? Text them or send them on through the Section 105 chats. Shot clock's going to cut us off. We'll be right back after these news updates to kick off quarter number 4. All right, it is the final hour. We kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us, whether you have been listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, or 790 AM, or online at sportstalk1051.com, or on your smart devices, like your Alexa device app. Video stream also up and rolling here. Big thanks for tuning in, however you're tuning in and wherever you are tuning in. We've got last call, last I guess kind of final hour here for you to send on over your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? Also, what's a sports confession that you have? And your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. What you got? All right. Send them on over. So if it's appropriate, we'll read it up on the air. We've got Express back at it tonight. Game 2, the Eau Claire Express. They opened up their season last night at Carson Park, falling to Fond du Lac, but they're back at it tonight at Carson Park against Fond du Lac. Midwest Family Broadcasting nights. It's also Magnet Schedule giveaway night. So first pitch is at 7:05. Also have Brewers. They game 2 gets the Cardinals, 6:40 first pitch. Kyle Harrison going to be on the mound for the Crew. You can listen to that game again right here on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Coverage will begin about 35 minutes prior. We got the NBA playoffs. Knicks are going to the NBA Finals. They swept the Cavs last night, so they are awaiting the winner between the Spurs and Thunder. Game 5 of that series is tonight with 2 wins apiece for both those ball clubs. The Stanley Cup playoffs, if Vegas wins tonight, they will have swept Colorado. So we'll see if they move on to the Stanley Cup final. Carolina picking up an OT victory against Montreal last night, 3-2 to lead that series 2-1. Shout out to UW Milwaukee baseball, as RJ kind of mentioned a little bit in the previous hour. They punched their ticket to the College World Series. They're going to be facing number 4 Auburn on Friday. So UW Milwaukee. And we've had some good alums come from UW Milwaukee too. So just Dalton and such. So UW Milwaukee back at the World Baseball or College Baseball class. I was going to say World Baseball class. College World Series. Did I just say college baseball? Jeez, slow it down. But College World Series. So. All right. Speaking of baseball here, we've got, again, Brewers with Kyle Harrison on the mound tonight. We've talked a lot about Brewers pitchers, whether it's been Kyle Harrison or Jacob Misiorowski this morning. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the position players and kind of give some cred to a couple of guys. And first off, let's give some cred to King Vaughn. Let's give credit to Andrew Vaughn. He's been playing very well since coming off of the injured list after his injury on opening day. Not a ton of power so far. He's only got 1 home run. But all he's been doing so far in his plate appearances since opening day, I mean, this season he's .333 with an on-base of a .424 and an OPS of a .934. Just that 1 home run, but he's swinging the bat really well as of late. Yesterday, collected 3 hits against the Cardinals. And, I was one. Here's my sports confession. I was one that I was on the fence about Vaughn for this year. He was great for the Brewers once they acquired him. But I was kind of on the fence. I'm like, okay, is that something that's going to pick up this year? Is he going to pick up where he left off? Was that just kind of a flash in the pan sort of thing? And I got to tip my cap. So far, he's playing incredibly well. Now, got a lot of season left to go here. Things could change. And yeah, maybe you'd like to see a little bit more pop, a little bit more power in that bat. But I got to admit, he's doing better than I thought he was going to do this year. I get it's only 51 ABs in that, but we'll take it. We'll take it. So hopefully I continue to be wrong about Andrew Vaughn. It was, again, not to downplay what he did last year when the Brewers brought him over from the White Sox, and he was a highly touted prospect. But I was like, I didn't want to put all my eggs in the Andrew Vaughn baskets. But right now he's playing really well. So, tip of the cap to him. And I gotta go with, I still think that what William Contreras is doing right now, how well he is playing right now, is kind of flying under the radar. At least maybe from a national perspective. Because all he's doing is hitting a cool 304. His on base is a 374, which is higher than his career averages. And his OPS is actually a little bit down. His OPS is a 782. He's a career 803. But 304 average, 4 home runs, 31 RBIs. And let's not forget what he does behind the dish. What he does with that young pitching staff. Now, every year before the season, Contreras in those preseason lists, those rankings, he's consistently up there, top 2, top 3. People know who Contreras is. People recognize his game. But even during the season, when he's putting up numbers like this and doing what he's doing with this young pitching staff, I still feel like he comes a little bit under the radar. And maybe I'm looking at it from an MVP perspective. Because if you look at the MVP odds, when we looked at him earlier in the program, I think it was in the first hour or so, he had the third best Brewer odds. Not third best in it, actually, third best Brewer odds. Terang was ahead of him, Cheerio was ahead of him, and then Contreras was in there. And they weren't up there. But I know it's hard for catchers now, which I don't quite understand. And you got Ohtani, which is just not fair to everybody else in the National League at this point. But it's kind of a weird thing with Contreras where he gets a ton of love and a ton of attention and a ton of credit, and rightfully so before the season. But as the season progresses and when he's playing well, I feel like people kind of forget about him from a national side of things. But right now, from a catching standpoint, when you factor in, I give him a ton of credit for what we're seeing with Jacob Misiorowski, for Kyle Harrison, a lot of these younger pitchers. I give him a ton of credit. And at the beginning of the year, there was a really good piece. I think it was done by Adam McCulvey from Brewers.com. And it talked about Contreras and how he works with this young pitching staff. And to have a guy like that behind the dish where maybe a younger pitcher doesn't have to overthink it, just trust the catcher. Trust your catcher. Trust what he's calling, what he's telling you to do. I think that speaks volumes in their development. We've talked a lot about Chris Hook and Jim Henderson and how the Brewers develop pitchers. But I think a piece that sometimes gets unnoticed or maybe doesn't get enough credit is what Contreras does with these younger pitchers and how he works with them. He has been in my opinion, a big reason we've seen this play from Misiorowski, from Harrison, from these bullpen arms that are coming in. He's been instrumental. He's been huge. And I do think he deserves to get some more love and appreciation from a national standpoint. He does before the seasons, but then it's like when the season starts, kind of forget about it a little bit. But Pat Murphy must have been in a really, really good mood entering on Memorial Day, entering the game yesterday. And I saw some of the clips and I saw some of the video, and Adam McCulvey kind of put it all in a post on Brewers.com. And if you didn't get a chance to see some of the quotes or see some of the liners, do yourself a favor and do it, or maybe even watch the videos. But as Adam noted, Pat Murphy is one of the few major league managers who still invites writers, broadcasters, radio, and television stations into his office every day for an afternoon briefing. Many managers have moved those sessions to the dugout, where reporters strain to hear over the stadium music, and the aim is just to get it done. As McCulvey says, Murphy's sessions are more relaxed, if a little crowded. After the size of the assembled media corps forced a move to the Brewers' media auditorium over the weekend while the Dodgers were in town, reporters crammed back into the manager's office Monday morning. I still saw Murphy over the weekend, too. I love this. Newbies, got to introduce yourself to Murphy. As he says here, if Murphy doesn't recognize someone, he asks their name, even if that means delaying postseason press conferences. If a reporter's just hanging back and taking it in, Murphy demands a question. So, Pat Murphy said, I love this. This is like therapy to me. And Adam McCulvey went through some of these liners. He said, don't ask how he got on this topic, but the day started with Murphy's favorite Phoenix area diners. His all-timer was Munch-A-Mania, an understated joint in a Tempe strip mall that closed a couple of years ago after a quarter of a century of fresh soups and sandwiches. My kid would go in there at 5 years old, throwing the football over the counter, you know. You'd come out of there smiling like whatever they were cooking. Gosh, it was great. About Sal Frelick, he said, Frelick, who right now we know he's struggling a little bit, was out of the lineup only for the second time this season yesterday. Just a mental reset, Pat Murphy said. Quote, he hasn't had a day in a while, so we'll give him a day. He's one of our guys. I love Sal. I don't tell him enough. I should tell him way more than I tell him. I need to do that. Let me write that down. And if you watch the video, he wrote it down. He wrote, tell Sal, I love you, Sal. Then he goes, does Frelick need love right now? He said, quote, he's not produced the way he's wanted to produce, but it's not for a lack of effort. And sneaky, he has been clutch as all get out. And he's a tremendous defender, and a tremendous kid, a winner. I have to tell him I love him. Not that he cares. Maybe I won't tell him. And then he crossed it off on his list. Like, Murphy was in a mood yesterday. About Ms. Mania, quote, he's still a young pitcher, and there's maturing to be done. He's been fantastic in so many ways, off the field, on the field, in the clubhouse. He's really earned the respect of the people. And it's a lot on him. Pitching, as we know, it isn't just push button. You just don't go out and do it. So when he was asked about some of the things he must improve, the game will chew you up, Steve, who was the writer that asked him that question. Command is always going to be an issue for him, a guy who throws that hard, and the size of his levers and all of that. There's a couple more things on there that if you wanted to read, but he did also get a little serious and said there is some concern for Logan Henderson dealing with a back issue. He said that, quote, I think we're monitoring that closely. I don't think it's any different, but there's reason for concern. So we're going to keep a very close eye on him the next few days. And he's supposed to start tomorrow. He's supposed to start Wednesday's game, but we'll see if that's going to be the case or not. And obviously we don't want to see that because right now, you've got Miz, you've got Harrison and Logan Henderson, those top three. And whenever Brandon Woodruff comes back, and hopefully it's soon, I know he just had another bullpen session. Hopefully we'll get those four. And then everything else can kind of fall into place after that. I know Sproat, a little bit of a hiccup the other day, but you get those four in the rotation here of Woodruff, Henderson, Miz, and Harrison. That's a four you can roll with. And you have some flexibility with that fifth starter. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's do a little grind my gears. Coming up after these few words. What's the latest and greatest at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire? Well, you should check out their flyer that they got up on their Facebook page. We're talking $2.98 Jack's Pizzas, loading up the deep freezers for some quick meals, especially if you've got Little League or softball or any summer sports going on. How about $4.59 for a 50 count of pizza rolls? Oh, yeah, those are always big, too. $1.68 a pound for Cosmic Crisp apples. Those are huge in our house, too. So, what else do we got? Holy moly, we got 2 for $5. Hy-Vee Midwest pork, boneless pork loin, butterfly, or America's cut chops. Heck yeah. We've got $5.99 a pound Hy-Vee boneless, skinless chicken breasts or tenderloins on there. $2.99 for some General Mills cereals for the kiddos. Maybe some of them are out of school or getting ready for summer vacation. Breakfast, load up the pantries with a bunch of cereal on there, or snacks like some Cheez-Its and Chex Mix that are also on sale for this week. Oh, it's a little hot out, right? They got $5.99 Blue Ribbon Classic novelties or frozen dessert. We're talking like ice cream, $5.99 a gallon. That's a heck of a deal, too. So $1.49 Hy-Vee potato chips for some quick snacks. Again, you could check out the entire flyer and all the latest sales and deals going on at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Don't forget, when you shop at Hy-Vee, you can also save at the gas pump with their fuel perks. So, for my choice for grind my gears, and again, I get it. It's early in the season. Okay, I understand that. But I think my grind my gears is more so from I think we got to get some more love for William Contreras. Again, from a national perspective. I get it. You know, you talk about the MVP race. It's only 31% through the season here. But it's you don't hear his name, and Ohtani's probably going to win it. But you don't even hear Contreras' name mentioned, which I think that's kind of disappointing. I'm probably going to go with that. It's grinding my gears that Contreras from a national, and maybe I'm missing it, but you don't hear his name mentioned too much about one of the National League's best. You know, National League, look at this guy, what he's doing here for this team. Look what he's doing this season. And maybe that's just because Contreras has set, again, the bar high, that it's kind of to be expected. Yeah, he's doing what we expected. Maybe. We had a texter saying, what grinds my gears is combined no-hitters. Are we really in the era where we're praising and acknowledging combined no-hitters rather than one pitcher getting a no-hitter? I'm assuming that's with the Astros no-hitter. What's going to be – how do I want to phrase this? You know, now it's becoming more rare to see starting pitchers just get complete games. Are we going to kind of maybe start to praise those more just because it's becoming more rare of starting pitchers having these complete games, or even like a complete game shutout? This is, what is it? Yeah. Oh, MLB.com ranked the combined no-nos. Yeah. Brewers is on there for that Corbin Burns, Josh Hader. 22, or they didn't rank them. They looking back at Major League Baseball's 22 combined no-hitters. I thought they ranked them, but no. Okay. They've got, Burns was just about untouchable in his September 11th start against Cleveland, racking up 14 strikeouts and allowing just one base runner on a sixth-inning walk. After a career-high 115 pitches, Burns gave way to Hader, who needed just 9 pitches to add 2 more strikeouts to the combined line and complete the second no-hitter in Brewers history. That's it. There's a lot of things changing in the pitching game, or for baseball in the pitching world. I'm really curious if we get to 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever it is, what is pitching going to look like at that point? What are we going to be praising? What are we going to be acknowledging? If when a pitcher does this, like 15, 20 years from now, considering how much it's changed, we're acknowledging combined no-nos. And we got pitchers that if they go a complete game, it's pretty rare. If they go to the 7th or 8th inning, it's like, wow, that's really rare. I'm really curious 10, 15 years from now, how do we view starting pitching? What are we acknowledging? What are we praising? What's kind of that new, I don't know if benchmark's the right word, but what's kind of that new level going to be where, hey, that dude went 6 innings. That's a great start. Are we getting to that point where it's just getting a starter through 6? Or are we just not going to have prototypical starting pitchers anymore, and every pitcher is going to go out there for 3 innings, and that's how it rolls? That's probably traumatic. Can't see that really happening, but gosh, I don't know what the world of pitching is going to look like in 15, 20 years. How different is it going to be? Long gone are the Nolan Ryan days, those, or even, those horses that would just eat up innings, rack up wins. I'm not going to see another pitcher get 300 wins. So what's the new benchmark for that? Like in NFL, there's always a benchmark for running backs to get 1,000 yards. And I feel like that's not as much anymore. So maybe is it like 1,300, 1,400, 1,500? Receiving, is it kind of the same, 1,500, 1,300, 1,400? We just kind of up it up every year in the NFL passing yards, right? It's like, hey, you got to get over 4,000. And this was kind of, and I know it's different eras, but there was something I saw over the weekend that somebody was trying to debate that Elway, I'll just kind of paraphrase it, kind of downplaying Elway's career. And they use stats and numbers. And yeah, when you look at it, comparing it to today's game, they're not great. You look at the touchdown to interception ratio. Let's just go in order from his rookie year to his final year. First number will be touchdowns. Second will be interceptions. 7-14, 18-15, 22-23, 19-13, 19-12, 17-19, 18-18, 15-14, 13-12, 10-17, 25-10, 16-10, 26-14, 26-14, 27-11, 22-10. If quarterbacks put those numbers up in today's era, they're probably not a starter or won't be for very long. But that, again, different era, right? He threw for over 4,000 yards one time in his career in 93 when he was 33 years old. Now that's like the benchmark for quarterbacks. I mean, could you imagine if Jordan Love put up numbers, 16 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions, heck, even 26 touchdown passes, 14 receptions? Packers fans would have a heyday against that. And who was it? Dare I say, was it Skip Bayless that said this, or was it Colin Cowherd? I know I'm getting off on a tangent right now, and I don't know if this was recent or not. It just showed up in one of my feeds. The worst thing going for Jordan Love right now is Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Bart Starr, all those other guys, because they've just continued to set the bar so incredibly high, and I could not agree more. But going back to, like in football, we talk about 1,000 yards rushing. That's gotten up to, okay, like now the bare minimum's maybe 13, 14, 15. Same for receiving. Passing yards, 4,000. I'm really curious to see baseball-wise, from a pitching standpoint, do we lower it if a pitcher gets to 200 career wins? It's like, oh, yeah. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in 15 years. All right, let's take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Packers begin OTAs today, so if you've got social media feeds and you follow the Packers and that, you're going to be seeing a lot of probably photos and clips and overreactions to OTAs because it's May 26th. I love football. I love the Pack. It's also May 26th. And I'm not going to overreact to how a player looks in OTAs. The only thing I will overreact to is if somebody gets hurt. That's the only thing. I think that's the only thing I would overreact to. If somebody gets hurt at OTAs. Other than that, no deep diving into what Matthew Golden looked like or Jordan Love in an OTA practice on May 26th or 27th or 28th or whatever it's going to be. But it's a start. It's a step in the process, right, of getting to training camp and preseason. We still got 2 more months to go before we get there. Still got 2 more months. But I'm sure there's going to be some that are going to be excited, going to be pumped to see some of the rookies with the veterans, and just seeing a little bit of clips of the green and gold getting some work done. Just don't get hurt. That's the main thing. Don't get hurt. Youngsters, do your homework. But I think it's kind of a big OTA. I'm not going to say big because I think that over-dramatizes it. But with a new defensive coordinator, with a new special teams coordinator, hopefully attendance is good. That's going to be another thing that's probably going to be overanalyzed a bit. But you'd like to see good attendance. All, if not all, a wide majority of them, close to being a perfect 100% attendance. So guys can get in, familiar with Jonathan Gannon, familiar with some of their new position coaches, familiar with special teams. And if Matt LaFleur, what he said was true, that kind of redoing the offense a little bit, yeah, you'd like to see those guys, the players, be nearly 100% participation. And if somebody's not there and it's not injury related, that's probably going to be overanalyzed and scrutinized too. Is it a contract issue? Is he not happy? Fans are going to get, going to pick sides, and then they're going to call out a player, they're going to call out a team, this, that, the other. The one player that I could see, now this might be more training camp, and maybe he's not there, I don't know, because I know he was there last week, but Christian Watson. I know there's a lot of people that said they would be surprised if they saw Christian Watson report to camp and practice at camp without a new deal. And it's a business thing, and some people are going to be like, hey, dude's been hurt too many times. He doesn't have a right to do that. Or, you're going to have others say, yeah, he's smart, cash in on what he kind of did in the second half of last year and get that long-term extension. Let's face it, it's a biz. It's a business, and he has the ability to do that if he so desires to do that. But that's going to be more of a training camp and preseason thing, I believe, unless he's not there and such. But, yeah, that'll start today. So if you see some Packers stuff out there, you'll know why. You'll know why. But, again, Brewers, they're back at it tonight, game 2, 6:40 first pitch. Kyle Harrison on the mound. Jacob Mizorowski has really set, to quote Michael Jordan, the ceiling is the roof. He's kind of really set the ceiling or set the bar up higher and higher every time he has gone out. And then you have Kyle Harrison that has been following him, and then he goes out there and sets his bar or ceiling just a little bit higher. What these two have done so far this year for the Brewers, has been remarkable. And you just knock on wood. Hopefully they can stay healthy. I saw a graphic earlier this morning. It was like 4-something in the morning when I was looking up some stuff. You look at the records now compared to last year at this time, and Brewers were they a couple games under 500, I think, at that point, and now they're 11 games over 500. They're 31-20. So again, for those of you who are in the crowd of it's too early, you can look at that graphic. You can look at that number. and say, hey, look at what the Brewers did last year compared to what they're doing this year. And you would be exactly correct. Last year, the Brewers were around 500, under 500 on Memorial Day weekend. And they end up setting a franchise record in wins. And this year, they are way past that pace from last year. A lot of different things could happen. I think the one team that had the same record was the Dodgers. I'll have to see if I can find it during the break here again. You want to talk here? Okay, so we were talking about pitching and kind of some of the trends here. This is kind of an interesting number. Percent of all MLB pitches thrown at 98 or higher. 98 miles per hour or higher. So far this year, it is the highest. Probably doesn't surprise a lot of people, but just kind of seeing the trend. So this is from Codify Baseball. 2008, that number was 0.5%. Okay, again, this is percent of all Major League Baseball pitches thrown at 98 miles per hour or higher. 2008, 2.5%, just under 20 years ago. Not that long. And it's at 3.8 now. A 3.3% difference. And it has climbed. Went from 0.5 to 0.8 to 0.9 to 0.8 and 11. 1, 1.2, 1.7, 1.9 in 2016. Then a little bit of a drop. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.7 in 2020. And then in 2021, it went up over 2 and never looked back. 2.1, 2.7, 2.9, 2.6, 3.6 last year, 3.8% this year. Goes back to this topic that has been out there for the last couple of years, last few years, where teams, it feels like, or pitchers are really focusing on heat and gas and miles per hour and maybe not necessarily accuracy and control and that they want the power. They want the gas. Rack up those miles per hour. You look at those numbers, it's like, sure seems like it. How about 97 miles per hour? So just put it down 1 miles per hour, 97 or higher. It's 22.6. 2008 was 4.7. This year, it's over 22.6. Talk about a huge difference. And this was an interesting one, too. This was actually from a few days ago from Codify. MLB teams hitting under 250. Under 250. In 1999, there were zero teams hitting under 250. Think about that. 1999, zero teams hitting under 250. 2026, 25. 25. From 98 to 2009, the most was 5 teams in 2002 that hit under 250. 2010, it went up to double digits. 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 12, 16, it dropped to 9. 11, 16, 16, 18, 25, 20, 16, 24, 19, 25. These are some interesting numbers. Here's a Jacob Mizorowski one they just posted a few minutes ago. Most 101 mile per hour pitches thrown by an MLB starting pitcher in one regular season for the entire pitch tracking era. Okay? Entire pitch tracking era. The most 101 mile per hour pitches. Let's go from the bottom up. Jacob deGrom in 2021 had 27. That's 6th. 5th, Jordan Hicks, 2022, 31. Hunter Green, 2025, 32. Jacob Mizorowski last year, 64. 2022, Hunter Green had 106. Mizorowski this year already has 173. He already has 173 pitches where they have been over 100 miles per hour. A starting pitcher. They put up another graphic here, too. It's a picture graphic, okay? It's kind of almost a magic eye here. The 180 fastest pitches thrown by a Major League Baseball starter this year. Let's just say let me see if I can do some quick math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 different ones. It's literally just their headshots, so maybe 8. Don't quote me. So 180 minus 8 is so 172 of them have been, 173 of them have been by Jacob Mizorowski. Insane. That's insane. All right, let's take a quick break as we start to wrap up. Well, we will wrap up. Final segment. We got some picks. All right. Brewers, Cardinals, who we rolling with? Will the Vegas Golden Knights sweep the Avalanche tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs? And who wins a pivotal Game 5 between Spurs and Thunder? We'll make those picks and more coming up after these quick words. All right, wrapping it up here this morning. Let's do some picks. Only got a few minutes left. Let's run through this. I'm gonna go with the Thunder to get the win tonight in Game 5 between Thunder and Spurs, and I'm gonna go with the Avalanche to pick up a win. It's do or die for them, man. So, let's do baseball then. We got Washington at Cleveland. Give me the Guardians. Tampa Bay, Baltimore. Griffin Jacks. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. We got Angels, Detroit. Yikes. Somebody got to win. I'll go Detroit. Cubs, Pittsburgh. Cubs riding this 9-game losing streak. I'm going to go with the Cubs getting a win tonight. Atlanta versus Boston. Give me the Braves. Miami and Toronto. I'll go with Toronto. Cincinnati and the Mets. I'm going to go with the Reds. Twins, White Sox. Joe Ryan, Schomburg. I'll go Twins tonight. Yankees, Royals. I'm going to go with the Yankees. Houston versus Texas. I'll go with the Rangers. Philadelphia and the Padres. San Diego Padres. Philadelphia picking up a 3-0 win last night. I'm going to go with the Padres bouncing back tonight. We've got Mariners taking on the Athletics. I'm going to go with the Athletics. Arizona. The Diamondbacks taking on San Francisco. Let's go with the Giants. And Colorado taking on the Dodgers. I'll go with the Dodgers. And then finally, Brewers, Cardinals. Kyle Harrison, Michael McGreevy. I'm going to go Kyle Harrison, the Brewers, picking up the win and securing at least a series win and putting themselves in a position to get the sweep, hopefully, for tomorrow. Again, you can listen to that game, 6:40 first pitch. Coverage begins on your radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM at about 6:05 tonight. You also have the Eau Claire Express in action tonight, Midwest Family Broadcasting nights, Magnet schedule giveaway night. First pitch against Fond du Lac is going to be at 7:05 this evening. And then the Express will hit the road for a few days where they'll be taking on Rochester starting tomorrow. And on Thursday, Thunder Bay, Friday and Saturday, they will be back home for Sunday to have a 2-game series with Thunder Bay. And then Madison in a home and away. And then they go on a little bit of another road trip there with Duluth and Bismarck and Wilmer. And then they're home for a few days too. So, all right. 2 minutes left. Let's look ahead to tomorrow. Making a turn Wednesday, right? Your Am I Wrongs. Your Mike Star Market, Am I Wrong? Think about that. Give me your picks for tomorrow. We'll do a little Inside the Hobby. Participation points again if you want to win. We had Tim and Rando picking up their swag from last week from participation, so it's a legit thing. They just picked up a bag full of swag. Tomorrow we're going to do some more participation giveaways, including cards and more swag. All right, so give me your Mike Star Markets, Am I Wrong? We'll do some Hy-Vee game changers. And maybe we'll do a little, we will do a little Inside the Hobby coming your way tomorrow as well. Hopefully we're talking about a series win for the Brewers and previewing a potential sweep for the Brew Crew going up against the Cardinals. We'll see if Logan Henderson makes that start. I'm going to say he doesn't. I think a lot's going to depend on how this game goes today. I think if the Brewers win today, they may just kind of maybe do a little bit of a bullpen type of game. Because when we look at the schedule coming up here too for the Crew, let me bring it up here. You've got St. Louis. You have the off day on Thursday when you travel to Houston. So I can see that playing out. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Stay cool. Gonna get a little warm. Haven't said that in a while. So be safe. Have fun. Same place, same time tomorrow morning. 6 a.m. We'll see you then.